Magnus Carlsen is one of the best chess players in the history of the game. He is a grandmaster and a 5-time world chess champion, 4-time world rapid chess champion, and 6-time world blitz champion. And he is known for absolutely destroying everyone that comes in his way. And this is Levy Rozman, also known as GothamChess, the largest chess YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, an international chess master, and the champion of the Rook Screaming competition of 1995. Now what happens when they both face off in a grueling game? Well, we're about to find out, because in 2018, they both played the one and only game together in a bullet tournament, and this is how it went down. The game was a 1 minute plus 0 chess game, and Magnus was controlling the white pieces, and he started out with knight to f3. Levy replied with f5, starting with the Dutch defense opening, in the hopes of following it up with knight f6, g6, bishop g7, and then castling. Magnus replied with e3, and they both continued their development, reaching this position. After that, Magnus plays c4. Levy replied with d6, knight c3, and then e6 from Levy to try and slowly build up to the center with a move like queen e7 and then pushing his pawn. But Magnus attacks Levy's pawn on f5 with the move e4. Levy takes on e4. Magnus takes back with his knight. They both trade knights and Levy strikes him with pawn to d5, attacking his bishop. The best move here for Magnus was to take his bishop back a square. This keeps Levy's bishop blocked and not allowing the diagonal to open, but Magnus decided to take the pawn on d5, and a few moves later we get this position. Magnus plays the move queen to b3, attacking the pawn on d5 and the other pawn on b7. Levy trades his bishop with the knight and then takes the pawn on d4 with his knight. Magnus could play bishop to d5 with check, but Levy could easily push his king to h8, putting it in safety. Magnus proceeds to take the knight in the center with his bishop, and Levy quickly takes back. And then, they both trade queens in the center after Magnus plays the move queen d5. Levy takes the queen and then bishop to d5, checking the king, and then king h8. In this position, Levy has a very strong bishop in the center, targeting both the f2 and b2 pawns, while the rook controls the e-file. And Magnus is also targeting both the b7 and c7 pawns with his rook and bishop. Magnus takes the pawn on c7, and the position now is a very interesting one. Levy is slowly winning and is targeting Magnus with a mate, because if bishop takes on f2, after rook takes the bishop, rook e1 is checkmate. Another checkmate is rook takes on f2, and after Magnus takes with his rook, Levy can play the move rook e1 and is checkmate. And even if Magnus doesn't take with his rook, any rook move from Levy is a discovered check. But Levy isn't playing anyone here, he's playing Magnus, so of course it didn't go that way. Levy did in fact play the move rook to f2, but Magnus responds with rook to c4, targeting his bishop. Levy plays rook f4 with a discovered check from the bishop, and if Magnus moves his king, it's mate. Magnus sacrifices his rook by taking the bishop on d4, and then Levy takes back with his rook. Bishop b7 is played from Magnus, and Levy plays the move rook b4, targeting both the bishop and the pawn on b2. Magnus plays bishop on d5, Levy takes on b2 with his rook, and Magnus plays pawn to e3, which Levy replies with a move that does literally nothing to his position, which is rook e2. Rook f8 check from Magnus, king g7, rook f7 check defended by the bishop, king h6, and then Magnus gets the pawn on a7. After a few moves from both sides, Levy decided to start pushing his pawns and played the move h5, looking to create a threat to his king with his two rooks beaming down on both sides. Magnus then plays the move rook to a5 with check, and they both proceeded to go across the board looking for a winning move, and comes the blunder from Levy. After Magnus plays bishop to f3, Levy gets too excited, thinking he got the bishop for free, with the pawn pinned to the king, but Magnus replied with rook f6 check, taking the rook, and the king can't take back because of the pawn on g2. And now, Levy is down a pawn in the endgame, Magnus' favorite play. This game would have ended in a draw, but both players kept on playing their moves until Levy ran out of time and Magnus came out victorious. This is the one and only game both Magnus and Levy played together, and Magnus obviously came out on top, but Levy still fought well.